Alva Johnson joined the Trump campaign in January 2016. She was working in her home state of Alabama, helping to organize rallies and doing some outreach in the Black community. She was assigned to Florida for the last 3 months before the general election, where one of her main responsibilities was managing these recreational vehicles that had Trump's face emblazoned on them. They served as mobile campaign offices. And on August 24th, 2016, Trump was coming to Tampa, Florida for a rally. This was an opportunity for the candidate to see the RV. Very good. It was a rainy day, and Trump ducked into one of the RVs. There were supporters inside, and Alva Johnson stood back and took pictures of the candidate posing with the supporters and signing autographs, took video of that. Then it was time for Trump to leave the RV and go into the rally. And Alva Johnson's account of what happens next is at the heart of a new federal lawsuit that she's filed in Florida. Her attorney laid out for the Post the allegations in that lawsuit.
As he was leaving the RV, he had to pass her, and he stopped and he took her hand, and she said, "Mr. Trump, I've been working very hard for you. I've been away from my family. I want you to go out there and kick ass." And he took her hand and with both hands and said, "I know you've been working hard for me. I won't forget you." And Ms. Johnson, who was wearing a baseball cap at the time, noticed that Mr. Trump started to move in towards her. And she didn't really know what to make of it. She was thinking to herself, maybe he's trying to hug me, what's happening? And then as he got closer, she started to think, maybe he's trying to kiss me. And she tried to move her head away at the last second to avoid as he came in for this kiss. Keep in mind, she had a baseball cap on and was moving her head, and yet he persisted enough to be able to actually land a kiss on the corner of her mouth.
Alva Johnson says there were 2 witnesses to this incident. Pam Bondi, who was then the Attorney General of Florida, and Karen Giorno, who was the director of the campaign in Florida. But I interviewed both of these women, and they strenuously denied that this incident took place. Pam Bondi said, "Do I recall seeing anything inappropriate? 100% no." Karen Giorno called the allegation ridiculous and that, quote, "it absolutely did not happen." White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders issued a statement. "This accusation is absurd on its face. This never happened and is directly contradicted by multiple highly credible eyewitness accounts." The Post has found a radio interview Alva Johnson did in May 2017 where she spoke glowingly about Trump and her interactions with him.
He is more incredible in person than I think than you would even think as you see him on TV. He's just the nicest guy. He really loves this country. He loves his family. He treats everyone as if they're a part of his family.
In the same interview, she also talked about a job she had applied for with the State Department.
One of the plans, the appointment that I put in for with the administration is to go overseas. So I will at some point be heading over to Portugal to work in the embassy. I'll be the chief of mission, second in command.
Her lawyer told the Post she felt bound by a non-disclosure agreement, saying, quote, "Alva did the interview as a favor to a former volunteer. At the time, she was under an oppressive NDA that prevents her from saying anything negative about the president." Despite this, Alva Johnson says she was very upset by the alleged encounter with Mr. Trump. I talked to both her parents and her boyfriend who corroborate her story of calling them that day and telling them about the kiss. She decides, however, to try to put the incident behind her, keep working on the campaign. 6 weeks later, though, the Access Hollywood videotape comes out.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it.
She listened to it on the speakerphone in her car and was absolutely floored by it and shocked and became very upset and said to her significant other, "This is exactly what he did to me, what he's describing." And she realized that this was not just some weird event, but this was a part of a pattern of conduct.
More than a dozen women have accused Trump of sexual misconduct, including forcibly kissing them or groping them. He has referred to these women as liars.
Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign.
Total fabrication. The events never happened. Never.
After the Access Hollywood tape, Alva Johnson says she stopped going to the campaign headquarters and eventually quit the campaign. She also says that she started seeing a therapist. Her attorney showed the Post some of the notes taken by the therapist. And while there's no specific mention of the alleged encounter with Trump, there is a vague reference to an incident that's haunting her.
So the notes taken by Ms. Johnson's therapist are important corroborating evidence. Her therapist wrote, "She has been on the road since March. Now she is having nightmares because of what happened."
Alva Johnson says that once Trump became president, she thought she could put this incident behind her. But over time, as the Me Too movement is encouraging women to come forward with these stories, she started having nightmares. She realized that she could not put it behind her, and that she felt compelled to file this lawsuit and, in her words, to try to hold the president accountable.